Okay, hi everybody, it's Martin from Derraco UK. We're here as part of our reloading series that I've been going through with you. If you've been following along, you'll see that we're now up to the trimming stage. So decapped already, we've gone through the wet tumbler, it's been annealed on our ugly annealer. We did sizing and expanding in the last few videos. So now we're going to move on to trimming, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so as you might expect, as part of the trimming that I do here in the shop, I obviously use the SRT, the shoulder referenced trimmer from Derraco. We sell these here in the UK, or they're available internationally as well. Very simple piece of kit, very inexpensive, and does the job really nicely. I know you get asked all the time about whether or not we can do chamfering and deburring on the inside and outside at the same time. The simple answer is no. For the engineers amongst you, it's fairly clear as to why we can't. It's all to do with the cutting bit that we use inside. So it's I think it's an 8mm cutting bit. It's flat tipped, so all it does is trim. We do sell another bit that you can use for doing the inside of the mouth. At the moment we don't have anything for the outside of the mouth, but these are genuinely an awesome bit of kit. They use interchangeable collets at the end so that we can change it from caliber to caliber. Every SRT comes with one of these removal tools, and you simply fasten it around like that, carefully pop it out, and this is a collet. So these are sold separately, and the body, including the cutting bit and the micro adjustment ring, that comes as one unit, and then you can just buy as many different collets as you want. Today I'm going to be using the number 5 insert, which is for the 6 Creedmoor variant. It's the closest one that Derraco currently does for the 22 Creedmoor. It's obviously the same body and shoulder. The 22 just has a slightly thinner neck, but because it references off the shoulder, that should be okay. The way that I set up my SRT per caliber, and there's a couple of different ways, but I'm a simple guy. For those who know me, I just like to keep things as simple as I can do. There are set trim lengths that you can get online. Vitavori, who are the powder manufacturer that I use, recommend a trim length of 1.910, 1910. That's how it goes in my head. I've just been through this box of brass before I started the camera rolling, and all of these are considerably longer. I'm getting about 1917, so I'd be having to take 7 thousandths off almost every single one of these cases. I think personally, I feel that that's probably a little bit much. So all I've done is using the calipers. Again, we've covered these previously. I sell these calipers here in the UK, and you can see that all I've done is I've attached 2 of our anvils to it, zero it out, and I've just been through the box of brass and measured up a load of them. So can you see 1916, 1918, 1916. So these are all sort of 6 or 7 thousandths longer than the official trim 2 length. But I said I think that's going to end up with a carbon ring or some other sort of issues going on if I trim it down too much. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've been measuring and measuring to see sort of what's the smallest case in this batch. This one's coming in at 1914 to 1915. So I'm going to use this as my reference piece. That'll take about 3/4 thousandths off all of the cases, without getting them so short as I think that my rifle might start to have issues with it. All I do to set up my SRT for this is undo the 3 grub screws. So there's 2 on the main body and there's one on the micro adjustment ring. So I undo all of those so that the bit can flow freely. Take my shortest piece of brass, insert it in up to the shoulders, and then whilst I'm just keeping a little bit of pressure on it, it doesn't need to be hugely excessive, I then just tighten the 3 grub screws down, and it's as simple as that for me for setting the trim length. I'll then put this piece of brass to one side, I'll mark it up with its length, put that to one side as a datum piece so that I can always come back to it should I lose my settings on the SRT. I can just go back and use this datum piece, and it's set up. That's the SRT done. So now we need this piece of kit over here, which we all know is a cordless drill. So I'll bring that over and show you how I use that. Okay, so I've got the SRT set up in a cordless drill. There's nothing exciting about this drill whatsoever. If you've got a cheap and cheerful one that you want to dedicate to it, then this one just lives on my workbench or just off to one side because I use it for all sorts of things here in the workshop. But chuck it up in the drill, and as you can see, that just spins nicely in there. Now, just one thing to be aware of, obviously we're trimming brass here, so you will end up with brass shavings. They're more than happy inside the SRT, that doesn't cause any problems whatsoever. But if you are interested, one of the things that I also manufacture here in the workshop with part of the 3D printed stuff is a brass catcher. And all this does, I'm not going to be doing with it today, it mounts the other way around, but I'm just showing you, is that mounts over the SRT this way around. I'll try and hold that to the camera, maybe you get some sort of idea. There you go, it mounts it that way around, and all the shavings are then kept within here, and then periodically you can just take that off and empty it out into the bin or whatever. The other thing that I use to make my life just that bit easier when it comes to trimming is just a piece of Velcro. Nothing exciting about this, or some other type of strap, and all that means is that I can then use this to fasten around the trigger on the drill. I'll show you, it's going to get loud, but bear with me. And that way I can just trim over and over without having to manually adjust the trigger and get into any type of awkward position. I know other people who use upright drills, like bench pillar drills, or if you have a lathe set up, then obviously you can run it horizontally as well. Either way will work absolutely fine. You know, the SRT doesn't care what you're doing, so you know, you do you. You know, there are a variety of ways of trimming brass. This is what I do. I think these are a great product. And then when we're ready, we've got our ice cream tubs. One's obviously full of the brass currently waiting. The other one's going to be where we're going to be depositing the trimmed brass into. Okay, and that's 100 pieces of brass all nicely trimmed. As you can see, this should sort of come out looking like this if the camera will focus on it. Nice and shiny, but completely flat at the end. So they're all trimmed, and hopefully you'll be now seeing the amount of trimmings that came off that brass if I've managed to cut in the B-roll properly. So there is a fair amount that comes off. Now, I'll inevitably be asked, how often do I trim? The easy answer is every time. Is it necessary? Probably not, but it's just part of my reloading process, is to make sure that I do each step every time exactly the same. And at the end of the day, we're all looking for consistency, and the only way to be consistent is to do everything the same. Now, you may have seen in the video, some of these brass cases barely touch the cutter. Some of them just took a tiny shaving off, some of them took a few thousandths off, and I could really feel it doing that trimming. That shows me that they aren't consistent, but then these are only once fired, it's only Hornady, so maybe the Lapua or the other brass might not need it as much. It's going to depend on the caliber and the cartridge. There's a whole variety of factors, but at least by trimming it every single time, I know that these are all consistent, and I can do that across all of my brass. I'll use this trimmer across all the other pieces going forwards, so that I know that they're all trimmed exactly the same. I'll be doing the same with the sizing dies. Everything I do is exactly the same every single time, and even if it's not necessary, it doesn't cause any harm, so you're not doing anything wrong by trimming it every time. Worst case is that you'll go through your 100 pieces and not a single piece will touch the trimmer. Well, other than losing the time, you haven't lost anything, you've not caused any damage, and you can then be sure that your brass hasn't grown. And it might be that depending on your different shooting characteristics, the type of cartridge, whether or not it's a hot cartridge, whether or not the brass is potentially a bit cheaper and it's flowing a bit more, you might need more or less trimming. I can't tell you that. I can only tell you how I do it. That's the whole purpose of this journey. But that's everything for today. The next step, we'll be moving on to chamfering and deburring, which will only be quite a short video, I hope, but that will be the next step on our journey. Other than that, I hope this has been sort of vaguely useful for you. If you've got any questions, fire them over to me or leave them in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you. Other than that, stay safe.